What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and I'm going to be showing you today how to catch more crappie the next time you go crappie fishing. My favorite lures to use for crappie are plastics, soft plastics, and live bait. Here in Ohio, we go to Hoover Reservoir. If you live around the Columbus area, you know about that. But there are so many crappie in there. I always catch them mostly on live bait. Sometimes I won't touch live bait and go for the plastics. Like right here, I have the Crappie Kit by Russ Bailey, Brush Pile Fishing. There's a lot of amazing looking colors. In here, you really want to buy this. Go to brushpilefishing.com and just type in Crappie Kit. I already tried it. It works. You should really buy these. And then over here, I have another crappie thing. Not going to lie, I have a lot of crappie lures. And then just a full thing of more crappie lures. It's not by anybody. We filled this up ourselves. Make sure to like and subscribe if this helps you out a lot. One of the things I want to go over that so many crappie fishermen make mistakes. It is so easy to change, and it is changing your bait. Fish are so picky on the food they eat. You need to change them if you have not caught anything in at least 15 minutes. At the most 15 minutes, then you have to change your lures because they're so picky that they might be biting every other lure that you have except for the one you have on. You need to change them very quick if you're using plastics. And think about the past. What have they been biting on the past? Like, you aren't going to start biting a food you don't like. You're not going to eat a food you won't like. So you want to get the fish to eat what they have been in the past. Use the lures you have in the past, and that might be a great trick to catching more crappie. Check the weather. The weather is also a big part in catching crappie. If there's a cold front coming in, they know a cold front is coming, and they don't bite much when there's a cold front. So you want to get most outdoors at the lake as possible when there's a cold front coming, because they do not eat barely anything during cold fronts. You want to get all the fish you can before the cold front, then they'll just be dead, and probably right after the cold front, they're going to be very hungry, and they'll be really hitting it after the cold front. Don't just try a different lure. Try different lures. Try all your different lures in one spot. Not biting there, go to a different spot and try all your lures. That is also a big mistake, because you might be fishing where there's barely any crappie, but 15, 20 feet away, there's like 30 or 40 crappie, a giant school of them. So that's another tip you need to know. If you're wondering what bait not to use, do not use hard plastics. Crappie will rarely eat hard plastics. The really only hard bait that I've really ever caught a single crappie on is a rooster tail. The brands, if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much just a thin little body, and then it has little hairs, and then a treble hook on the end, and then a little flasher. You need to try that out. That's also a great bait. So just go to roostertail.com and you'll see plenty of them. Another thing you want to look at is which way is the water moving. That can also depend on what type of lure you use. You can use live bait in really any conditions, but if you use plastics in heavy waves, use this one because it will have a lot of action in heavy waves. But if there's just a little tiny current, it's not going to really move this as much. But on a little bit of current, use this one because it's going to have a lot of tail action and little current, just barely moving it. The tail's going everywhere, moving this. I mean, there's still a decent amount, just not as much as this one. Just I'd recommend using this one when it's a calmer day and this when it's heavier wave. Another thing you need to know, you have to give it action. You cannot just let it sit. You're just lure. You cannot let it sit. You have to give it some action. Give a fish a reason to eat it. I mean, you gotta, let's say you have a bobber and then it's a couple feet down your lure. And that tail might be fluttering a little bit, but to the fish, it's not even moving anywhere. If you pull on it a little bit and give it a little action, you see that minnow, the fish see that minnow is actually moving around. And because you see, are fish eating dead minnows? No, they're not gonna really eat dead minnows like crappie. They only really eat live minnows. So just use live minnows, or give it some action. You gotta give the fish a reason to eat your bait. And when you're buying crappie lures, look at the reviews, see if people are actually liking them. If you just buy them and you're like, ooh, those look really good, make sure you look at the reviews, because you might think they're really good, but they might just be absolutely garbage. And you don't want garbage lures. You want really good lures that are reliable and that will be actually good in crappie when you eat them. Get ones that have at least a 4-star rating, so that gives you another like bing that it will be a good lure. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe button. I hope that you caught so many more crappie the next time you go fishing. And that's really it for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.